Dear students, welcome to the e-lecture series as suggested by KTU. This topic hardware is taken from subject Construction and Materials area 202 under the module 1 Timber and Hardware.
In this lecture, we will learn about different door hardware that you must have seen in your vicinity, but you may or may not aware of the technical names and functionality of them. This lecture is basically a brief presentation on hardwares in continuation to the one uploaded earlier. Part 1 by 2, I have attached the link here at the bottom. You can see from here. Earlier, we divided the hardwares into 5 to 6 categories as per the need, in which we included hardwares required for hanging the door, for operating the door, for closing the door, for locking the door, for protecting the door, and some miscellaneous hardwares. In part 1 of this lecture, we covered hardwares required for hanging the doors and for operating the doors. There we fine-tuned ourselves at how the frame can be fixed to the wall with a hold fast, how the shutter can be fixed to the frame with a hinge, and how the hardwares help in operating the door. Today we'll learn about hardwares required for closing the door, in which we'll study about door closures, catchers, silencers, etc. We'll gain an understanding on the hardwares required for locking the door as well, since closing the door and maintaining privacy is not enough. The major reason security has to be taken care of. Once the door has been installed with all the necessary hardwares, you can also increase the life of the door with some hardwares. You must have seen doors at places where footfall is very high or more people are using the door. Then the edge guard is a plus for protecting the door from wear and tear. The edge guard is very commonly used for car doors, so you must have seen it. We'll also discuss about some miscellaneous hardwares that are a little diverted from the basics but enhance the safety and functionality of our doors. Today we'll learn about hardwares required for closing the door, in which we'll study about door closures, door catchers, silencers, etc. We'll also gain an understanding on the hardwares required for locking the door. Since closing the door and maintaining privacy is not enough, the major reason security has to be taken care of. Once the door has been installed with all the necessary hardwares, you can also increase the life of the door with some hardwares that will protect it. You must have seen doors at places where footfall is very high or more people are using the door. Then the edge guard is a plus for protecting the door from wear and tear. The edge guard is very commonly used for cars doors, so you must have seen it. We'll also discuss about some miscellaneous hardware that are a little diverted from the basics but enhance the safety and functionality of our door. So till now we have a fair idea of hardwares required for opening and closing the doors. Imagine you are sitting at a place where people are coming at high volumes. Can you close the door each and every time if they forgot to close it? Very difficult for you. So, to save us from this and many other reasons, we put door closures. Now, when we want our doors not to bang on the wall, to save fingers from injury, to have some purpose of safety and security, and to tackle all the above purposes, we need door closures. As the name suggests, door closures means there is something which is closing the door automatically, right? So we can define a door closure as a device which is fixed onto a door to automatically close the door when it is opened. It also serves a variety of functions as they close and latch doors in a controlled operations. Now, if we look onto the history of the door closure, then we can say that gravity may be considered to be the first door closure. Before any mechanical devices were attached to doors to close them, the way in which the door was hung automatically close the door once open. This technique to hang doors may have originated with gates because of the need for them to remain closed once traffic has passed through. Now, these door closures are available in different materials. They are available in stainless steel, aluminum, cast iron, and there are two categories in which door closures are available. They can be automatic and they can be manual. Automatic door closure means these kinds of door closures opens the door itself, typically under the control of a push button, motion detector, or some other device. You must have seen these kinds of door closures in malls where when you come near to the door opens itself or the door closes itself. Whereas in the manual door closures, it stores the energy used in opening of the door in a spring and then releases it to close the door. Sometimes a gentle push is also required, and it works on two mechanisms. One is the spring action and the other is the hydraulic action. The spring action door closure has a spring fitted inside it, and the hydraulic action door closure works on the hydraulic mechanism. And to limit the speed at which the door closes, most modern door closures use oil filled hydraulic dampers. Although spring mechanisms and friction alone may also be used for damping. Now we will learn about some advantages of installing a door closure. The first of them is no banging. It solves the problem of banging doors. So now you are free from that unwanted sound. It protects from damage as well. Because when doors are prone to regular banging due to the wind or other factors, it may damage. It reduces energy bills also. Now you must be thinking how a door closure can save energy bills. This happens because each and every time when the door is open and the closure closes the door itself, it prevents the loss of heat or cooling inside your room, right? It also provides fire safety because it prevents the inflow of air, therefore preventing the spread of fire. It provides safety as well, and they are placed at places like toilets and washrooms. It gives security as well because they are placed at entrance doors, closing doors, and once somebody has passed through, they relatch the door lock. To understand the mechanism of the spring action door closure, first we need to understand the different parts of these kinds of door closures. You can see here there is a box. This box is basically the main part of these kinds of door closures. In this box, there is a spring like this which is fitted, and there are some tiny holes. We'll discuss it later how it works. Now, there is a valve here which actually adjusts the speed of opening and closing the doors. There are two arms. One is the main arm which is attached directly to the closure, and there is a forearm which is attached directly to the frame of the door. Now when you open the door, you are pulling the pump out. The spring inside pushes the closure shut, and the tiny hole which is left here is basically for the air to slowly escape. As the air escapes, the door slowly closes. This is done because having just a spring to close the door would slam every time. Now we need to understand the mechanism behind hydraulic action door closures. For this, we need to understand the different parts of these kinds of door closures. In these kind of door closure, there is a cylinder. You can see here, and this is the spring tension adjustment. This is the latching speed. This is for the swing speed. This is for the back check, and this is the closure shaft, which is from where the two arms are attached to the door and the frame. Now, this is very simple and easy to work with. When the door is open, the hydraulic door closure pulls the door and closes it rather than slamming the door. This happens because the closure has a sealed tube which contains a spring so that the closure can work properly like how it is supposed to work. First of all, we will learn about the overhead door closures. These kinds of door closures are very common and they are widely used throughout commercial properties. They are basically available in three categories. One is the regular arm, other is the top jamb, and the third one is the parallel arm. The names of these kinds of door closures are given on the placement of the door closure, where it is placed. Now, when you look onto the regular arm door closure, you can see here also it has a pull side oblique application, means it is located on the exterior of the door. You can open the door from outside. There are two arms. You can see here. One arm is this one and one arm is this one. So this arm is attached to the frame and this arm is attached to the spring loaded box. The arms when closed project out perpendicularly from the door, which is less attractive than other applications. And this is the most power efficient option available. Now, when you look onto the top jamb door closure, in this type of door closure, the spring loaded box is mounted on the face of the door frame. These are often used for aluminum or glass storefront doors because these doors generally have narrow top rails like regular arm closures. Top jamb closures are fairly power efficient. The last one is the parallel arm door closure. As the name itself says, parallel arm means the two arms that sit on the top of the door are parallel to each other when it is opened. They are attached to the door via spring loaded box which sits at the top of the push side of the door and powers the closing action. These kinds of door closures are one of the most common applications, particularly in commercial properties and schools. And due to the arm geometry, these are less power efficient than regular arm and the top jamb closures. Now we have discussed about the overhead door closures. The second type of door closures
we can say are spring door closures. The mechanism of this we have discussed in the beginning also, how this works. Now, in this category, we find helical spring door closure. This is manual, and these type of door closures are used for heavy duty door closure. For heavy duty, this is more durable and can be taken down when not needed. And the price starts from rupees 150. The third one is the floor spring door closure. They are basically door closures that have a bar inside the closure. There is a bar inside the closure which is fitted to the bottom of the door. Here you can see, and this controls the closing action of the door. They are basically used for glass doors, and they have an open setting as well in case the door needs to be left open. And you can see from the top you get a finished surface. The closure is not visible. The fourth one is the surface mounted door closure. As the name itself suggests, surface mounted means the closure is mounted on the surface of the door or the frame. So these kinds of door closures are fitted to the door frame. You can see here, and the arm is fitted to the door. Typically, they are fairly small in size and they can be purchased in various colors. You can match the color of your door, and they are very cost effective option for automatically closing doors. As we have seen in the overhead type of door closures that there were three options: regular arm, top jump or parallel arm. The same way we have options here as well. The fifth one is the concealed door closures. As the name itself suggests, concealed means these kinds of door closures are not visible to us. They are basically fitted into the recess of the door and the frame. First, you make a recess in the door and the frame, and then when the door is closed, you cannot see the door closure. They're basically ideal for interior doors. There are various factors to choose a door closure. First of all, you have to see the size and weight of the door so that you can decide the size of your closure, which depends on the strength required for it. Second thing you need to see is the location of the door. This will tell you the traffic volume at that place. If it is located at a place where more people are coming, or is it at a place where traffic volume is less? I'm just giving you a basic idea that what type of closure can be used depending on these factors. For instance, you can use overhead closures in buildings where foot traffic is medium to high. In extremely high levels of foot traffic, closures with spring mechanisms shall be preferred. Because as we have learned earlier, when we were learning spring door closure, it was for heavy duty. And these kind of door closures can be mounted on the floor or placed overhead as well. If you have medium to low traffic on your property, then framed mounted closures can be a good choice, especially for interior doors. Now, the third factor that you need to keep in mind is the opening and closing frequency. Based on the swing spin and the pounds of force required to open the door, there are building codes that you have to follow, which has three grades of closures: G1, G2, and G3. Grade 1, Grade 2, and Grade 3. Buildings with high volume, such as busy offices, usually require Grade 1 closures, and the same goes on. The fourth one is the mounting location. This is very important because it depends on the aesthetics required.
You may choose the closure as per the mounting locations, either parallel to the door or top of it or exterior of the door, etc. Affordability. Of course, cost matters. So choose as per the affordability. You have options of back swing also, where you want the door to swing in both the directions. So it is also available and you can see is it required or not. The next hardware for closing the door is a door catcher. Catcher means it's catching something. So door catcher is basically a fitting which is required to keep a closed door at a normal position and not to naturally open due to a wind pressure. There are various types of door catchers available like a ball type, a roller type, a magnet type, a slide catch to slide and stop. Basically, they are used in cupboard doors and they are quite cheap in price. They start from rupees 5.5. The first category is a ball type door catcher. You can see here there is a ball type of thing. There is a ball in this. These are basically used on closet doors where a latch is not used or needed. These are the two parts of these types of catchers. This is called as the plate, the strike plate, and this is called as the ball catch. This ball catch is mounted on top of the door, but it is mounted by recessing the hole in the door. And the strike plate is mounted on the door jamb, where the spring loaded ball will catch and hold the door closed. The second category of door catcher is magnetic door catcher. It basically has a retaining clip in its body. So when the door is pushed against it, the magnet holds the door in place. And when the door is pushed back fully, the retaining clip will within the catch clicks into place and the door is held shut. The third category is the roller door catcher. It is very similar to the ball type door catcher. The main difference is that the roller catch is a spring loaded cylinder that rolls rather than a ball. The next hardware is silencer. As the name indicates, silence. Therefore, they are hardwares which are used for quieter doors. It's a small piece of molded heavy duty rubber material, and the rubber acts as a shock and sound absorber. It may be cone shaped or rod shaped. The cone or rod is molded to a flat, slightly thickened backing. Its price starts from 4 rupees. It's quite cheap. The number of silencers that should be installed depends largely upon the size and components of the door. For example, a standard size door usually needs not more than 3 silencers spaced equidistant from one another, one in the side stop strip near the top of the door frame, one in the center and one near the bottom. In pairs of doors, 4 silencers are usually recommended, 2 for each door, and are installed in the top stop strip. Now moving to the hardwares required for locking the door. First of all, we need to know the bolts. There are various kinds of bolts. Bolts are basically used to provide security for the doors. Since in the earlier lecture we used handles for closing the doors, now we need to lock the doors. So the first type of bolt is L-drop latches. This is a very common type of bolt. You must have seen it. They are also called as latches or L-drop. And to lock this bolt, padlocks are required. Padlocks are locks which are locked by using a key. The next bolt is hook and eye type bolt. This is the eye and this is the hook. This type of bolt is used to keep the window's shutter in required position when it is opened so that it does not bang. This hook is fixed to the shutter frame and this eye is fixed to the window rail. The next is the flush bolt. You can see here flush. It's not visible means. In this case of flush bolt, the bolt flush is desired to keep the face of the door. Tower bolt or barrel bolt. It's a very common type of bolt, and this is a rod shaped bolt for fastening the door. They're basically attached to one side of the door at the edge and sliding into a cylindrical casing on the frame of the opening. They are available in various materials like stainless steel, bronze, iron, steel, and they are available from 4 inches to 12 inches. The another one is a spagnolet bolt. This is used for highly secure doors and casement windows which cannot be reached easily. This is the hasp and staple bolt, looks like a stapler. This is also locked by using padlock as L-drop bolt. The hasp is fixed to the door or window, this, and staple is fixed to the frame. The locks used for doors and windows are of many types. Mortise lock. You must have used these kinds of locks. Here, you just push this lever and then the door opens, right? Here, what happens? The locking part is placed in a mortise. This is a latch bolt and this is a lever. They are used on every kind of door: entrance, bedroom, bathroom, hotel room, doors, office cabin doors, you name it, and you can place it. They are basically suitable for single shutter, double shutter, sliding doors. Mortise locks are usage specific, which is why, depending on where they are to be fitted, they combine different features: safety and privacy both, etc. They are available in two types: vertical and horizontal. They consist of two bolts: latch bolt and lock bolt. The other type is mortise deadlock. This lock has only a lock bolt. There is no latch bolt, and which is operated by a key and needs another device to keep it closed when it is unlocked. Another type of lock is rim lock. This lock is fixed to the face of the door and preferred when the door is too thin to accommodate a mortise lock. And they are the padlocks. We have seen it earlier also. They are used when we used to provide L drop or latches onto our doors, so that to lock them we used padlocks. The another one is the lever handle lock. It basically installs easily and can be operated by an adult with a squeeze on the hidden buttons built into the hinge. You can see here the two parts. This is the latch, this is a mortise plate, and this is the lever. Another option is that there is a throw bolt and there is a thumb turn. So both the options are available. You can choose anyone. Cupboard and wardrobe locks. These are heavy and light duty locks, usually made of brass, and are fitted to the side of the movable shutters. There are various door locks that you use, depends on the security and usage. For example, a padlock can be used for lockers, doors, trash units, sheds, etc., whereas a deadbolt can be used for external doors, A mortise lock can be used for commercial doors, entry glass doors, and apartment doors, etc. Right. So there are the security ratings. The other thing that you can choose for your safety and security is a night latch. It works as a latch from inside and locks from outside for use on front doors. They are available in rim and mortise style. The another one is chain guard. You can also say a door chain, security chain, or security door chain. It consists of a small chain, this attached to the door frame. Here you can see this chain is attached to the door frame, which attaches to a track on the door for security purposes. Now, since we also need to protect the door for increasing its life, so we use door kick plates. As the name says, kick means they are used at places where you can kick. They are basically metal or plastic strips that protect the bottom of your door from scuffs, dents, and scratches, and are more common in public places. They are now used in homes also. The term kick plate comes from the fact that when people's hands are occupied, they often kick the bottom of the door to open it. Therefore, they are installed on the push side of the door. It basically protects the bottom of the door from scuffing, and it is durable, economical, against constant punishment from equipment and pedestrian traffic. It also adds a decorative touch to your door. It has various sizes. It is available in a variety of materials like brass, stainless steel, bronze, and anodized aluminum. There are various types of protection plates. One thing to keep in mind is that these type of plates are usually sized to be 2 inches less than the width of the door. 1 inches 1 inch is left from here and 1 inch is left from here. And then the plates are centered on the door panel. You may confirm this criteria with the building owner also, since some institutions have different requirements. The first one is the kick plate, which is a push side plate, and the height of this plate varies from 6 inches to 12 inches, and the width of this door plate will be equal to the width of the door minus 2 inches. They are used where a door may be pushed open with a foot. By definition, kick plates are attached to the push side of a door, and they comes in a variety of heights. It is usually recommended that kick plates to be 16 inches tall in any space where a wheelchair is used, so that the footrests come in contact with the plate. The second of this type is the armor plate. They are used where carts are pushed through doors. As with kick plates, armor plates are always installed on the push side of the door. The size of this plate is basically a square. The length and the breadth are the same. The third one is the mop plate. As the name itself says, means it's meant for the purpose of mopping. They are basically installed on the pull side of the door. Since the pull side of the door usually doesn't receive the abuse of feet or carts, therefore a smaller plate is installed to take the bumps and dings from mops or vacuum cleaners, and they are typically 6 inches tall. Sometimes they also comes in 4 inches and 8 inches heights. The last one is this stretcher plate. Stretcher. You must be thinking stretcher. Where have you seen the stretcher? In hospitals. So these plates are applied to either side of the door and they protect the middle part of the door. They are used in hospitals, as I told you, to protect the door in the area where a stretcher or hospital bed will crash into it. The installation height and the size of the plate here varies based on the types of gurneys used in the facility. The next one is the push plate. It provides a non-marring surface where the user can push the door open. The kick plate and the push plate are mostly used in commercial doors. This is the push plate and this is the pull plate. You can see here, this pull plate is placed usually where a handle is provided. It is also known as pull bars. In this image, you can see a kick plate placed at the bottom. Here, there is an edge guard which is protecting the edge of the door. Then there is a door knob, and here is a push plate. To the opposite of this push plate, there may be a push pull bar. The next hardware for protecting the door is edge guard. It is also known as edge protector since it protects the edge of the door. Some doors suffer severe damage due to heavy volumes of pedestrian and wheel traffic. In this case, the door edge protectors shield your door edge and protect it from unsightly marring and excessive wear. It also serves some other function as well, like it protects against damage, fire, smoke, and sound. And sometimes the seal also includes integral antimicrobial protection. It basically comes in stainless steel, aluminum, or plastic. And there are two types of edge guards available. One is caps and the other is angles. Angles are L-shaped and they will protect only one corner of the door edge. This corner is protected. This corner is not protected. While caps are U-shaped and will protect both the corners of the door edge. This corner is also protected and this corner is also protected. They are basically surface applied, but they can also be mortised into the door so that the door edge is flush with the face of the door. The next hardware to protect the door is threshold. It is basically a strip which is fastened to the floor beneath the door. You can see here the threshold is placed here and the door is here. It usually covers the joint where two types of floor material meet, and it can be made of metal, aluminum, or wood. It may have a rubber strip in the center to aid in weatherproofing. There are some miscellaneous hardware also, like door knocker, which is a hardware that allows people outside a house or other dwelling or building to alert those inside to their presence. Now, doorbells has taken its place, uh, but still we sometimes use these kinds of door knockers, and they are available in various materials like brass, aluminum, and bronze. In this image, you can see a stay. Stays are usually used to keep the windows, fan lights, etc. open in the desired place. They can be adjustable to give the shutters in different positions. Like you can see here, it has holes, one, two, three, right? And this is a peg. Then the holes fit into the peg and allow the sash window to be held open in various positions. How much do you want your window to be opened? Here you can see a door viewer. We also call this as a peephole, peek hole, spy hole, door hole, or a door viewer. It is basically a small opening through a door which allows an individual to look from inside to the outside who is standing outside, right? I have tabulated various brands names that manufactures different types of hardware. Some useful IS codes and handbooks that I have used and that may be useful for choosing the hardware for your design. So now we are done with the door hardware, their needs, their functionality, what are the factors needed for selecting them, their materials and range. I hope everything is clear to you. Thank you.